What's up guys, we are back with another Stormworks tutorial. In this one we are going to be going over the basic switches in the game. So I got this little board up here and we are just going to get right into it guys. So in the last one, if you didn't see it, we covered the workbench over there, and that gives you the basic tools to kind of place blocks around and paint it and basically create the creations. But I made this little board for you guys, so we're just going to go down the switches and I'm going to show you guys a couple more switches over here, and then in the next episode we'll get more into the actual number logic that you see down here. But starting off, we got a key switch. So this is just going to be an on-off signal, so think about like a light switch but with a key. It just looks a little nicer. I like using these, I think they look great. Turn it off, and then next we have a toggle. This is the same thing as this, it's just a button. You just press it, and then I have this one out. You see it's sticking out from the wall. It says two-sided in the description right there. So if we go to the back side of it, there is a button on the back side. And what's kind of nice about these is, just for building, the hitbox only goes on one side. So you can cram this side of the button against a wall if you need to. And I know it sounds weird, but if you play the game long enough, that is something that you may or may not need to do. So turn these off quick. We'll go to the next ones. These are push buttons. So if I just push it, they stay as long as you hold the signal yourself. This is the same thing, just two-sided again. It has that funny hitbox on only one side. Just keep that in mind. And then going back over here, we have the next button. This is a lockable button, and these are going to work like the toggle buttons where they just stay on or off, but you need to unlock them. And I have a key switch here. You notice it's super slow. That's just a nice little feature about these. You can tweak how slow these are to switch. So this one's on 2.5 seconds, which is a lot longer. And it opens up the button. You can click this, it turns the light on. And now if you lock the button again, this signal stays the same, so it won't turn off. Just keep that in mind. You have to unlock it again and turn it off. So these are all of our basic buttons in the game. These are just simple buttons. You can add composite buttons later. We'll go over that. But I kind of wanted to split these off from the number logic, so we will do that in the next video. And this is just a fun little example. So you can hook it up to multiple different things if you want. We got a little rocket launcher and the horn and the heater. So these are all of our buttons. Next, these are not technically buttons, but these are switches that are very common in the game that I think you will find very useful. So the first one we're going to be talking about is this relay block. And one thing to note about this block is it only works with infinite electricity off. So if I go to our custom menu and I turn infinite electricity on, you'll see all of my stuff over here is going crazy. This is why I always tell people in my builds to turn infinite electricity off, because I use a lot of relays, I use a lot of breakers. But anyway, so this relay, we can think of it as like a switch for electric power. So what's happening here is this light already has an on signal. This right here is turning it on. It doesn't have any electric, if you see. So this A side of the relay has electric. As you can see, it's flowing from the battery into A. And the B side does not, and the B will flow into this. So as soon as you click this button, it lets power flow through the relay. As soon as you let go, it cuts it off. So this is like a switch for electrical power, very useful, very common application for vehicles in real life. So this is very commonly used in many electronics inside of cars and stuff like that. So the next thing we got is our breaker, and this is just what I like to personally use for my fire alarms in my ship. So I have a little example here, but same kind of thing is going on over here. All right, so it's essentially the same thing, except it's you're mechanically flipping this button yourself. So think about this button is just in the middle of this relay, and you're just switching it yourself. So this light already has an on signal. There's a blinker right here just to kind of add for effect, but it goes into the blinker, onto the lights and the buzzer. If we flip this, we have our alarm on. And the reason I do this with breakers is because if I was to place one adjacent here and hook up the electric A to the electric A on the breaker over here, and the electric B on this breaker to the electric B over here, if I flick this one, it would turn this on. And if I flick this one, it would turn it on. So it's kind of a nice way to have a complete OR gate system without having to just cram like a ton of OR gates and a ton of buttons in. That's why I do it. And then lastly, this is going to be the last really common switch you'll use in Stormworks. This I made into a microcontroller myself. You'll see a lot of times I just search door in my videos. I have a microcontroller for doors. That's what this is. And I recommend you, honestly, once we go over microcontrollers, I recommend you build one of those yourself. They're going to be a lot more compact than doing it this way. I just did it this way because this little diagram kind of helps you understand what's going on. So in this switch, up here we have our track. This is going to be the output. We have our little dude. You can see this track is getting a signal of -1, and that's because this switch box is off. So the off signal right here, right here, is -1, and it goes in and it goes out. And so right here, the out, you just follow these lines. The out is going up into this track, and the out right now is -1. You can see the first on value is 1, the second value is -1, and the switched value, that is the current value that is going through the block. So if we turn this, think about this signal goes in here, and it's red because this is a bool and this is a number, so this is just a switch. This goes in here, and it tells it to stop taking this number and instead take this number, which is the 1. So if we click this, our guy goes to the right, and we can see this is getting a 1 signal. And if we let go, it goes back to -1. So that's a door. You're going to use those a lot for pivots and hinges and stuff like that. It's a very, very common thing that you're going to need in Stormworks. So get yourself familiar with that specific mechanism. That's why I added it to this. But yeah, guys, that is the switches tutorial. I know this one was a little bit shorter, but again, I kind of wanted to split this off from the logic because the number logic is going to be a little bit longer. I know they've added quite a few blocks to the game these days too. So, and if you are concerned about the composite, that'll be its own thing too. So we'll go over how to configure composite switches and stuff like that in another video. But I hope you learned something from this video, and I appreciate you guys' support. So I will see you in the next one, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.